Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over a new partnership with Showcase Football, and what we're going to be doing is going over the technology that we're going to be utilizing within the camps to be able to provide more value to you guys when you're able to attend, and we're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab. Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so we're going to be going over the reporting here within the 8-camera system they have set up. I know we haven't shown this in a while, but when we click, you can see how there's cameras all around here, and we're actually looking from a particular camera. I like to get a few different views of the quarterbacks as they're going through, the particular throw. And really what we're going to be doing is giving a deep dive into some of the specifics that we're looking for within the throw. So you can see here on the right, we're able to get a lot of interesting information from a number perspective. So, we have the stride length, we have the trunk separation. So this is going to be at max trunk separation, and it's pretty easy to be able to navigate through here, right? So this is going to be the moment where he was able to generate the most amount of trunk separation during the throw. He got to negative 34.96, which is pretty good. A lot of the guys were within, like 20 to 15. Some of the guys were struggling to get over even 10 degrees of trunk separation. And we know from the research and the information that the amount of trunk separation is really important when it comes to being able to get a better understanding of the ability to generate force, velocity, distance into the throw. So this is a really good place to be able to be with the trunk separation, right? And then we're going through, and these are the main moments, right? So then we could also see max external rotation. We can quickly go to that moment as well, right? So this is when he was in the most amount of external rotation within the throw. Generally, we would want that to be, at about this time in the throw, right, where he's a little bit into it, and we don't have the video here synced up perfectly with that moment. It looks like now we will be able to, right? So now he's at that max moment there. We'd like for that ball to be a little bit further when this is happening, or a little bit further outside, not so much behind the head, but you could see, this is that moment when he's able to generate the max external rotation within that shoulder, okay? And then we also can look at something like max wrist velocity, right? So this is when he's generating the most amount of wrist velocity during the throw, okay? And then we could break all of that down a little bit more too, so we have all of this information as well, right? And so this, we could just click on different moments within the throw, and it could just, again, get a little bit more into the specifics. So like, this ends up being when he's generating the most amount of velocity within the shoulder, right? The amount of shoulder rotation that he's going through. And really what we're looking for here is the percent change, right? So what happens here is we're looking into the point where he's at the most amount of external rotation to internal rotation, and how fast that ends up happening. The velocity of going from that external rotation, right, way back here, so we can see, I'm looking at the angles here within the graph, and then also watching what's happening within the throw. We can watch this one in particular, for instance. So he's going through, all this time, he's limiting the rotation that he has within the shoulder, right? So he's at max external rotation here, okay, or in terms of the velocity, he's got the most or the least amount of degrees that are acting on the shoulder here, okay? And then here, he's gonna end up speeding that up until he gets to this point, right? And so, that displacement of, about 1,000 into, the close to 800 there, ends up being what we're looking for when we see the max internal rotation velocity, right? And how many degrees he was able to change within a second, right? And that was really a pretty good number there, 1949. He's a little bit limited in elbow extension, and he's got good trunk rotation where you want to be, and these are all general numbers, right? We talk a lot about, like, there's not going to be a lot of specifics into the what's exactly going to be the number that you want to be at, right? Even with the trunk separation, but we want to be able to get some ideas of where we're at from a rotation perspective. You could definitely be really low with like internal rotation velocity, or have a big difference within that internal rotation velocity in comparison to the elbow extension, right? And those types of things make a difference, okay? So the more internal rotation velocity that you have, the better your chances of being able to generate a lot of force on the throw, right? The more extension velocity that you have in comparison or in alignment with the internal rotation velocity, then the more speed you're getting within the arm. Okay, and the more you have trunk velocity, then the more you'll be able to put force onto the shoulder and onto the arm. And the same thing within the pelvic rotation. So he's a little limited in his ability to generate very much force through the pelvis, right? And we could go and look at these specific moments and when all this is happening, right? So this is the moment when he's going through the pelvic rotation, right? The most amount of pelvic rotation velocity is happening right there, okay? And then the most amount of trunk velocity is happening, right there. And again, in that 500 range is a good range to be. You can see that's closer to the top of what we typically see. But that 300 range is going to be more, right middle of the road. We don't like to see too big a differences here, right? We want to be able to see a lot more overall consistency within the entire body, okay? Same type of thing here. So we're looking at that change of, rotation velocity, right? And so we went from here down into close to 945, and then we got the max of in the 700s. So those numbers end up making a big difference when it comes to understanding how much force is going to be acted on within the arm, within the the shoulder, within the wrist, within the elbow, and we're just calculating all this stuff, right? And then from this we can get a better understanding of where from a athlete development perspective will we be able to provide the most amount of information to help you moving forward, or for you, you can go in and potentially take this to your coach and be able to say, okay, based off of these numbers, I need to work more on, my pelvic rotation and getting more of my pelvis into the throw, right? I'm not generating a lot into the throw here, right? We were a little bit limited in terms of the space, right? Or the amount of velocity you can potentially generate here just because he's on the track and things like that. But at the same time, when we're going through these throws, and I told these guys as well, it's like we want to be able to see what it is that you're doing, right? So you've got to be able to put more force on the throw. You got to be looking at this in a way of like we're looking for your max, right? So it's like sending in a max or how much you squat, right? And if you send in a squat amount and let's say you say 350, but you're like, oh, but I hit that for 3 times, right? Like that's not really my max. It's like, well, this is the data that we got, right? You said we got a 350 max, so that is the data we got to go with. It's the same type of thing here. Like we're looking at this like these are your numbers that go into your top velocity of a throw. So we want to be able to see, you trying to put more behind the throw. And this is, after he's done a few. And so, you ended up getting into a pretty high velocity place. But, there's a lot of things that this athlete did really well. Out of the quarterbacks, the reason I chose him is because I felt like he overall had the best mechanics. And, his numbers really showed, especially in that internal rotation velocity and how much he's getting out of that. Now, again, I think you can use more of the lower body. We talked about some things that he could do within the grip and the hand to make it so we can get more consistencies within the wrist, right? Because we saw a lot of inconsistency with the wrist velocity and also a lot of inconsistency when actually just going through the throws. So, I wanted to go over, this more in depth with you guys just so you can see, the amount of information that we're looking to be able to, provide the quarterbacks that go to the camp. We want to be able to add in some stuff for, some of the other positions as well. We don't know exactly how we're going to be able to do that or exactly what the extent of that information is going to be, but we're going to be able to work on that. We're going to work to just provide more value to you guys when you come to these camps and make it so there's more information that you can walk away with and also more information that you can potentially give to your coaches and things like that. So thanks for watching. If you like the information, click that thumbs up, subscribe. If you are looking to find out more about Showcase, I'll have a link down below. And if there's anything that you have any questions for me about, I'll also have my contact down below so you can go ahead and reach out to me and let me know if you guys have any questions, anything